No, you didn't forget to adjust your calendar. These guys are counting down the new year in Times Square with the official Times Square New Year numerals about a week and a half before the big event.
Like every good Broadway show, we have dress rehearsals. So we want to get them out, we want to test them out, make sure that they work.
So our man here is the president of the Times Square Alliance in New York City. And he's right that it's important to get a nice tech run of these giant numbers that indicate the upcoming year of our upcoming Lord, 2024. And just like any Broadway show, you want to make sure that important technical elements of the evening's entertainment light up the crowd and don't ruin everything. Unlike that poorly executed Spider-Man Broadway musical plagued with accidents and mechanical difficulties that injured a bunch of cast and crew members and had to close because they weren't able to get insurance anymore, marking the biggest botched rollout by some of the guys in U2 of the 2010s until they forced that album into everyone's iTunes library.
So today we welcome the arrival of the Numerals 2024. They were on a cross-country trek in a Kia electric vehicle.
Yeah, for the fourth year in a row, Kia hauled 2 2s, a 0, and then a different number, I think last January is probably 3, across the country on a coast-to-coast road trip. The whole thing started off in Los Angeles, perhaps as a nice change of pace for people tired of taking pictures in front of letters, before traveling 2,800 miles to Times Square.
We brought them here to Times Square, we tested them out, they worked, and they're going to be on display here until Friday at 11 a.m. for anyone to come and take their picture.
Oh, fair warning about that. They've already put up some of the numbers, the ones who get top billing.
Like all Broadway shows, we have understudies. So what you're looking at is 3 of the understudies that get to make their debut on Broadway today, and we will just be putting the 4 up in place on sometime next week.
Yeah, the plan is to lift that number up to the top of one Times Square on Friday to complete the sign. But again, as with Broadway, you never know. If something goes wrong, maybe a 7 and a 1 will have to fill in at the last minute. Now, concerning these numerals, they each stand 7 feet tall and use a total of 588 energy-efficient LED bulbs. The number 2 has 145 of them, the 0 has 164 of them, and the number 4 has 134 of them. All 4 together weigh about 116 pounds. The 0 is the heaviest at 380 pounds, the 2s each weigh 250 pounds each, and the 4 is about 280 pounds. So now you know how many light bulbs are in the 2024 numerals, and how many are contained within each individual numeral, how much each of these numerals weighs, as well as the combined weight of the numerals. Just in case someone strikes up a conversation with you at a New Year's Eve party who you really want to impress.
Because this is so cool, you know, the magical season in New York for the Christmas time.
That person's visiting New York City from Washington, D.C. and is posing with her family in front of these fine digits.
I come out every year because this is one of my favorite days of the year.
This person lives in Brooklyn, and she came out to see these things in a manner fit for any true New Yorker.
I love that I can count down Happy New Year with the numerals before New Year's Eve. I don't have to be out here in Times Square on New Year's Eve. As a local, we try to avoid this place like the plague.
And here's someone from Harlem who gets her picture taken in front of the numerals on an annual basis.
It's a tradition. I do it every year.
Awesome. Why?
I'm starting off the new year with hope, joy, love, good perspectives.
Speaking of perspective, for those who want to visit Times Square on New Year's Eve, consider this. According to the official Times Square website, there are no licensed food and beverage vendors in Times Square on New Year's Eve. And if you leave your viewing area to dine at a restaurant, you will not be able to return to your spot. And of course, there are no portable restrooms in Times Square during the celebration. In 2017, the New York Post described New Year's Eve in Times Square as a urine-soaked hellhole. And they spoke to someone who needed to use the bathroom but got turned away everywhere, had a friend who ended up pissing in the street, and even encountered stories of people who wear adult diapers to ring in January 1st in a collection of their own filth. Oh, and if you want to volunteer to toss confetti, too bad. They've already got someone. Happy New Year!